There are many different martial arts that seem to come to the public eye over the years. Whether through practice, entertainment, or legend, there is one that stands tall for them all. So, what is Shaolin Kung Fu, and where did the legend begin? Shaolin Kung Fu isn't just a martial art, it is a legend. A symbol of discipline, spiritual depth, and seemingly superhuman ability. It's inspired movies, books, video games, and generations of martial artists around the world. But what exactly is Shaolin Kung Fu? Where did it come from? And why does it still capture imaginations over 1500 years after its birth? Let's dive in to the temples, the training halls, and the mythos of one of the most legendary martial arts traditions in human history. To understand Shaolin Kung Fu, we have to go back, way back, to the 5th century in China. In 495 CE, during the Northern Wei dynasty, the emperor built the Shaolin Temple on Mount Song in Henan province. This temple would become the cradle of Shaolin martial arts. But it wasn't martial arts that brought life to the temple, it was Buddhism. Around 527 CE, an Indian monk named Bodhidharma arrived at Shaolin. He introduced Chan Buddhism, what we now call Zen. According to legend, he found the monks physically weak and mentally unfocused, unable to maintain the intense meditation required by his teachings. So he taught them a series of exercises to strengthen their bodies and minds. These exercises became the foundation of Shaolin martial arts. At Shaolin, martial arts weren't just for combat, they were for cultivating the mind and spirit. This is a central truth of Shaolin Kung Fu. Every movement was, and still is, a form of meditation, an expression of discipline, control, and awareness. Over time, these physical practices evolved into sophisticated fighting systems, influenced by both Indian and Chinese techniques. Shaolin monks developed a diverse array of styles that mimicked animals, internal energy, and the natural world. They trained not just in hand-to-hand combat, but in over 30 traditional weapons, from staffs and swords to rope darts and meteor hammers. But again, it wasn't violence for violence sake. Shaolin monks were expected to master themselves before ever mastering an opponent. Now, there's a lot of myth that surrounds Shaolin. Stories of monks defeating bandits, fighting in wars, performing supernatural feats. Some of these are based in fact, others are legend. The truth lies somewhere in between. During the Tang dynasty, for example, the Shaolin Temple gained fame for assisting the future Emperor Li Shimin in battle. This military service earned them imperial favour and cemented their reputation as warrior monks. However, not all periods were so golden. The temple was destroyed and rebuilt multiple times across history by emperors, warlords, and in modern times, even by political movements. But Shaolin kept coming back. Its survival is a testament not just to martial prowess, but to its cultural and spiritual value. Now let's talk about styles. Shaolin Kung Fu isn't one unified system. It's more like a vast constellation of styles and techniques developed over centuries. Some of these most iconic include Tiger Style, known for raw power and aggression, mimicking the strength and ferocity of the tiger. Crane Style, emphasizing balance, precision, and deflective movements. Snake Style, focusing on speed, accuracy, and fluidity. Dragon Style, combining hardness and softness with a focus on spirit and rhythm. And Leopard Style, using rapid strikes and explosive footwork. These animal styles are not just imitations, they embody physical principles and mental attitudes. Tiger is dominance, crane is grace, dragon is inner mastery. There are also internal styles like Xin Yiba and Yi Jinjing, which focus on breathing, energy cultivation, and flexibility. The blend of internal and external methods is part of what makes Shaolin Kung Fu so deep and holistic. Shaolin monks are renowned not just for empty hand techniques, but for their extraordinary weapon skills. Here are a few of the most iconic. The gun, or staff, known as the grandfather of all weapons. The staff is fundamental in Shaolin training. It teaches balance, timing, and flow. The Dao, or broadsword, is a slashing weapon emphasizing power and circular motion. The Zhen, or straight sword, is the weapon of the scholar warrior, requiring precision and finesse. The Jiang, or the spear, called the king of weapons, is focused on thrusting and fluid transitions. The meteor hammer is a flexible weapon involving weighted ends swung at high speeds, a true test of control. And the rope dart and chain whip are high-level weapons that combine speed, spatial awareness, and extreme coordination. Training in weapons not only develops fighting skill, but also enhances body mechanics, reflexes, and awareness. Training at the Shaolin Temple is intense, physically and mentally. Monks wake before dawn. Their day is filled with forms, weapons, conditioning, and meditation. They train in horse stance for hours, perform aerial flips, and condition their bodies through hard qigong, striking their limbs to build resilience. Forms are core to Shaolin training. These choreographed sequences of movements simulate combat scenarios, teach rhythm and technique, and encode generations of wisdom. Meditation is equally important. A Shaolin monk trains the mind to be as sharp as the body. Sitting meditation, walking meditations, and even meditative movement are central practices. This is martial arts, not just for self-defense, but for self-cultivation. Shaolin Kung Fu is rooted in Chan Buddhism. This philosophy teaches direct experience, simplicity, and the unity of body and mind. There's no reliance on scriptures alone, it's about living the practice. This shapes how a Shaolin martial artist moves, thinks, and lives. Combat becomes a metaphor for life. Every punch is a lesson in awareness. Every stance is an act of presence. Shaolin isn't about defeating others. It's about defeating ego, distraction, and ignorance. You've seen Shaolin Kung Fu even if you didn't know it. It inspired Bruce Lee. It powered Jet Li's breakout role in Shaolin Temple. It lives in Jackie Chan's acrobatics and in hundreds of kung fu films from the golden age of Hong Kong cinema. Even anime, video games, and Western action films borrow from Shaolin. Its imagery, monks in saffron robes, the temple of Mount Song, training in bamboo forests is iconic, but the real Shaolin story is deeper than any movie. Today, the Shaolin Temple is both a living monastery and a global symbol. It hosts tourists, runs martial arts schools, and sends its monks around the world to perform and teach. Some critics argue it's become too commercial. Others say it's evolving with the times, but the core remains. Around the world, people train in Shaolin Kung Fu, not just for self-defense, but to connect with something bigger. A tradition, a discipline, a way of life. In places like Europe, North America, Africa, and South America, Shaolin schools teach forms, weapons, and philosophy. The Shaolin message of balance, peace, strength, and awareness is more relevant than ever. Many of the feats seen in Shaolin Kung Fu, breaking boards, balancing on spear tips, holding impossible stances, may seem supernatural, but modern science shows us these are the result of extraordinary training in biomechanics, breathing control, neural adaptation, and mental focus. MRI studies on meditation show significant changes in brain structure. Martial arts improve reaction time, muscle density, and even cognitive function. Shaolin monks, through decades of training, push human potential to the edge. Shaolin Kung Fu isn't just punches and kicks, it's a cultural treasure, a living art form, a philosophy of discipline and peace shaped across centuries of war, survival, and devotion. It teaches that strength without compassion is hollow, that mastery of the body begins with mastery of the self, that stillness can be as powerful as movement, and that a world full of noise and chaos, that lesson might be more valuable than ever. So what is Shaolin Kung Fu? It's ancient and modern, physical and spiritual, fierce and compassionate, a martial art and a path to awakening. It's not about becoming a fighter, it's about becoming whole. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of Shaolin, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more dives into legendary martial arts, the hidden histories and the philosophies behind the fight. Until next time, train hard, breathe deep and stay present.